Now, in other countries, including Serbia, Croatia, Ukraine, Nicaragua, Indonesia, Thailand, Peru, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, etc., 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 small non-governmental organizations played pivotal roles in mobilizing their population against non-democratic incumbents. And they've been involved in a variety of activities, including indirect opposition activities and direct opposition. When we talk about indirect political opposition activities, we're talking about things like monitoring human rights violations, so that you can show the people what's going on, show the international community what's going on, which creates more pressure on the regime. Providing legal services to those who want to stand up to the regime. Creating victim support groups. All these help bolster a rising opposition coalition and lessen the potential costs of getting involved in collective action. So they help reduce or help people meet their thresholds. There are also these direct political opposition activities, like voter registration and voter education. Right? Tell people that it's important to go vote, and then monitor that vote. Election monitoring has been critical. And popular mobilization, where election monitoring reveals some sort of fraud. So after, either prior to the elections or especially after the elections, mobilize people to go off and fight the falsified results. Even where they had only weak links at the grassroots level, many NGOs were successful in bringing large numbers into the streets in the name of democracy and human rights. More recently, we've seen NGOs take part in color revolutions around the post-communist world and the Middle East. These electoral revolutions, like those that preceded them, have involved a handful of familiar things. First of all, they've involved the formation of a unified opposition. So having political parties that usually squabble with one another because, after all, they're competing for political power in what they hope will be a democratic regime, have them drop all those fights and unify in the name of fighting a common enemy. The second element here is efforts to increase voter registration and turnout and improve the quality of voter lists. And this is really important in non-democracies where, and especially, as well as any sort of non-democratic regime type, whether it's a single-party state, it's a personalistic regime, competitive authoritarian regime, where people don't feel like their participation is meaningful. Get people to come out. Show them that it can be meaningful. Okay? And all these things have to be taken as a whole. Efforts to focus the campaign debate on the cost of the incumbent regime and the benefits of participation to opposition members and citizens at large. In other words, demonstrate to people that the incumbent regime is bad and that it's worth getting involved. The fourth element, utilization of international and domestic election monitoring, as well as media and public opinion polls. Okay, so again, show people what's going on in the elections. Show people where fraud has taken place. Show people where the elections have been unfair, where the opposition has been denied what theoretically the regime says is available to it, the available opportunities to run a free and fair election. And finally, preparations for public protests if the incumbents try to steal the election. Okay, and so this has been a common theme in all these color revolutions. And next week, after we discuss foreign assistance, we'll look at how one of these revolutions, Georgia's Rose Revolution,